Then on Sports Central, we go for our next team prediction of this offseason, and it's going to be over the Georgia Bulldogs, a team that went 13-1 over on the 2023 season. Easily the best team to not be in the college football playoff last year. I still feel like if Georgia was in that top four, this team could have absolutely won it all. This was that good of a team last season. It was just one slip up in the SEC title game that took this team out, but without a doubt, this team is still on the rise. As we look forward to 2024, I could definitely see this team winning it all in the 2024 season. And why that is we'll be talking about here today. We'll be looking at this team, the players they're losing and returning, and break their schedule top to bottom in this video. So with that, let's get started with a quick recap of 2023. Once again, just an incredible season for this team, even though, that's just the standard for Georgia at this point now, is winning a national title. It may have been a disappointing season because this team didn't win a natty. That's just how Georgia is right now. They won back-to-back national titles before last season. They definitely could have last season as well, but once again, it was that SEC title game against Alabama that really took this team out in the end. And this was also a college football season with a lot more depth than usual. There were 6 teams in the country that I really feel it could have won it all. Georgia and Florida State on the outside looking in both could have. Obviously, Florida State, though, needed to be healthy in order for that to happen. And in the end, the team that we saw in the Orange Bowl could definitely have not won it all. But point is, that's the reason why Georgia went from 1 to 5 after that SEC title game. You just got so many good teams, so many true national contenders at the top. It's one of the few seasons where that would happen. But that honestly is a big reason why it's good that we got a 12-team playoff this upcoming season. I feel like for Georgia, if they were, say, in that 12-team playoff, if the 12-team playoff started last season, Georgia still could have definitely won it all. But from start to finish, the way this team won their games, how dominant they were, obviously things were tough in November. This team took on some really tough teams. Mizzou was really good last year, beat them by 9. The one that really stood out to me was the Ole Miss game, 52-17. Ole Miss was no joke last year, and Georgia made them look terrible. That's how good Georgia was in that one. Beat Tennessee 38-10. Then obviously they lost to Alabama. Beat Florida State 63-3 in the Orange Bowl. That's a statement win right there for Georgia, beating Florida State, a team that was so incredible all year. Seminoles were without a lot of their starters. Obviously a really controversial ending to last season, but either way for Georgia, I'd still say an incredible season despite not winning a national title. But looking forward to 2024 now with your roster preview. Carson Beck coming back is obviously a huge storyline, looking to be one of the best quarterbacks in the country this upcoming season. He already was in 2023, and I'd even go as far as to say he was a bit overshadowed last season. There were so many good quarterbacks in college football last year. I think Carson Beck was a bit overshadowed by them, but that shouldn't be the case in 2024. This guy is extremely accurate, 72% completion rate last year, nearly 4,000 yards. He's definitely going to be a true threat this upcoming season once again. You look at the backfield, Edwards and Milton both gone. Good news is, got Trevor Etienne coming in from Florida. This is a huge addition. He'll be the top in this backfield for sure, and he's a huge reason why this offense should be just brutal once again in 2024. The receiving core loses Brock Bowers, top tight end, star tight end. He's off to the NFL. Marcus Rosemy Jackson's also gone. Same with Ladd McConkey. But Dom Levette and Robert Thomas both coming back. So you got 2 of your top 4 in the receiving core coming back. A couple of additions in the transfer portal as well, so I'm really not too concerned about the receiving core. You lose 2 on the O-line, 2 on the D-line, 1 linebacker, and then 2 in the secondary. So a few losses on defense, but overall this team returns a lot of their key starters, and also they add several in the transfer portal as well. So I'm really not too concerned about this team. They do lose some of their key talent, but this team honestly as a whole should be even better in 2024, in my opinion, without a doubt. You look at the transfer portal and recruiting. Vandegrift's off to Kentucky, but you got Jaden Rashada coming in from Arizona State. We mentioned Etienne coming in from Florida. Andrew Paul's in the transfer portal. He was a minor running back last season, just over 100 yards of rushing. The receiving core additions, London Humphreys and Colby Young coming in. But you do lose C.J. Smith and Muse off to different places. Marvin Jones Jr., edge rush off to Florida State. Got Migliot coming in from South Carolina for the D-line. You lose a couple linebackers, a couple in the secondary. Add Jake Pope from Alabama. Overall, really not too concerned about this team with their losses. And honestly, when you consider the recruiting class that this team is adding right now, 5 stars, 19 4-stars, top recruiting class in the country once again, and top in the SEC. Georgia's got nothing to worry about. This team is at a 10 on the future forecast. This team should be an issue for many years to come. I wouldn't be surprised one bit if another national title is on the way. It could definitely be in this upcoming season. But with that, let's take a look at the schedule as we look forward to 2024. You got Clemson in week 1. That game is in Atlanta. Clemson's been a disappointment the last few years. They could be better in 2024, though. I said that also going into 2023, as did many, and they turned out to be just a mediocre team. But Clemson's not a team you want to look over. They're nothing special right now, but that's still a game that obviously you got to take care of. Then Tennessee Tech in week 2. Kentucky and Alabama on the road. You got the Crimson Tide in Tuscaloosa to finish out September. That's going to be a huge one there to finish out September. And then in October, you got Auburn, Mississippi State both at home. Auburn could be halfway decent this season. Texas on the road. This is another big matchup. Texas next season I could see very well in the college football playoff once again. I feel like there's probably four main national contenders looking forward to 2024. Texas is definitely one of them. Obviously, Georgia's in there as well, but the Longhorns are, Quinn Ewers, they're going to be an issue in 2024. And then you got Florida and Jacksonville to start out November. Ole Miss on the road. Rebels are going to be tough. Then you got Tennessee, UMass, and Georgia Tech all at home to finish out the regular season. So this is a brutal schedule for Georgia here. A lot of really tough road games. Alabama, Texas, Ole Miss in particular. Clemson's not a team to overlook. Auburn isn't. And same with, I'd say, Tennessee as well. So it's a pretty difficult schedule, but with that, looking at the first month of action, I think you take care of Clemson. That's a team that's going to be good in 2024, but I don't really think anything too special in comparison to Georgia. I think the Bulldogs win that one by a couple of touchdowns in the end. Tennessee Tech, Kentucky, both easier wins as well. And then Alabama on the road. This is the first true test for Alabama. Kalen DeBoer, new era in Tuscaloosa. I feel like Georgia's going to go in there and they're going to find a way to win. Alabama's not the same team as they were in 2023. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if this was maybe a bit of a down season for Alabama, especially in comparison to the standard that's been set for the Crimson Tide and new coaching staff. It's going to be an interesting season for them, and I think Georgia does clear Alabama, and they start out 4-0 on this season. Then you got Auburn. This is not going to be a game to overlook here. I feel like maybe it could be because of just the implications of the Alabama game, the storylines going into it. It's going to be a huge one. Auburn's not a team to overlook, and I feel like Georgia's going to win it, at least by a couple of touchdowns, but I do think that's kind of a sneaky matchup to not forget about. Mississippi State, easy win. Texas on the road. I kind of want to pick Texas. This is the one game where I kind of am thinking about taking Texas, but I can't bet against the Bulldogs at this current point. Just Georgia, the way this team continues to be on the rise, they should be even better in 2024 than they were last season. I feel like they're going to beat Texas, but Longhorns are no joke next year. That's going to be a really tough team. That could honestly be the game of the year coming up there on October 19th. And then you got Florida and Jacksonville. Take care of them, no problem. I think the Gators won't be an issue at all in this upcoming season. So that puts you at 8-0 heading into the Ole Miss game. Ole Miss is, I'd say, one of the big three. Alabama, Texas, and Ole Miss are the three most important games of the season, all of them on the road. There's some pretty important games there in between, but I would say these three road games in particular in yellow are going to be closer games and definitely dangerous ones. And I do think that just the fact that Georgia beat Ole Miss 52-17 this last season, I think Georgia's going to beat Ole Miss, but that's a game to obviously not overlook. The Rebels should definitely be a national contender in 2024. This is the best that Ole Miss has been in a long, long time. Lane Kiffin, that's going to be a really tough team this upcoming season. Tennessee's also a team that's going to be sneaky as well. I could see them being pretty good. They don't have super expectations right now, but I see Tennessee being a team that's playing some pretty good ball in November, so don't want to sleep on them as well, but I do think you beat them by a couple of touchdowns. UMass, Georgia Tech, both easy wins. 12-0 is my prediction for Georgia. I'm pretty sure this is going to be the one team that I can predict 12-0 for this upcoming season. I just have that much confidence in this Georgia team. The way they finished last year, obviously after winning back-to-back national championships, the way last season ended in the Orange Bowl is not going to sit well with this Georgia team that the standard now is national title or bust. And you look at this team top to bottom, the experience they're going to have. Carson Beck, The defense is only getting better. Georgia's a team that is the national title favorite for this upcoming season for a reason. I really wouldn't be surprised if they won it all. So I'm saying ceiling 12-0, obviously. That's my prediction as well. The floor is 10-2. But don't forget, this is a really difficult schedule. For any other team really in the country, there's just no way that you can expect to win 12 games with this schedule. But I think Georgia's the one team that can do it. This is the national title favorite for a reason. And with that, let me know your thoughts and comments below on Georgia. What do you think of this team? Could they win it all in 2024? And I appreciate you guys all watching as always. My name is Evan. This is All Sports Central. Stay tuned for more. We'll catch you on the next one.